my channel, Planty Princess. My name is Ashley. Today we are going to be talking a little about growing plants hydroponically. It is spring, the growing season is beginning, and I am super excited to introduce a new method of growing to you or expand on a method that you're already familiar with, okay? Before we get into this video, I do want to thank the sponsor of this video, LGECON, for sending me this indoor hydroponic growing garden. Now, this is a good company that I've used tons of grow lights from, I reviewed before, and I really do like their systems and the products that I've tried out. So I am definitely excited to get some of these plants growing hydroponically. Systems like this, you can grow really anything of your choosing, vegetables, herbs, and even our common or uncommon houseplants. So I'm going to be growing some houseplants in here because I already do have a herb setup that I'm actually doing already hydroponically. If I didn't already have a setup for herbs, I probably would do some herbs hydroponically because I do like the way they grow. Now, hydroponics, before we get started, let's talk about what hydroponics is, okay? So a lot of you might already be familiar with semi-hydroponics, and that's when you use some form of substrate that is not soil, but also water. Hydroponics is using pure water. It is a soilless method of growing, and you can grow hydroponics all year round. Now, when you're growing hydroponically, actually, you use less water than your traditional soil-based systems. And growing hydroponically does offer a faster growth and a better yield. So growing hydroponically is a great method, a great system, and if you do it correctly, you will have a good outcome and you will like the way that, systems like that work. They do offer a lot of, actual gardens to growing hydroponically, like the one I'm going to show you today. And there are also a lot of other alternative methods that you can find as well. But let's get into this box. We're going to check this system out, and hopefully you will like it, you will try it, and you will expand into growing some of your plants hydroponically as well. Now, growing plants hydroponically, as I just mentioned, is great for the herbs, and people like to grow, especially like tomatoes and strawberries and stuff like that, hydroponically. This is also a great system for propagations as well. I am going to be putting some propagations that I have already started in this system, but actually I think I'm going to continue to grow them hydroponically because they're already kind of past that point of where you would plant them or change the substrate or put them in any type of substrate. Now, I still could, but I do like the way they look. And I think creating kind of like, now that I have this, creating like kind of a mini collage garden would just look so beautiful. So as it comes packaged in this box, and it's secured in here with some styrofoam on the edging, and then as well as kind of wrapped in this styrofoam sort of thin sheet. So we will get into this first. As we pull it out, we have the main system here. Now you can put 10 different plants in here. Okay, I think I have 4 different types of plants, but I have multiples of some. So we may fill this up or we may have some empty spaces. I'm not sure, but we'll figure it out. What's great about this is it also has a slot where you put your food in. So while we're talking about plant food, now, when you grow hydroponically or even semi-hydroponically, when you do not use soil, you definitely need to use some type of plant food or fertilizer or nutrients because water and other substrates, soilless substrates, do not provide the nutrients that the plants need as soil does. So that is definitely a must. Of course, if you don't do it, your plants will still grow. They may grow slower. The colors may fade. If they're flowering plants, they may not flower. They may not grow to their fullest potential. So you definitely want to make sure you are providing them with the nutrients that they are missing from the soil. So opening this up, this is where everything is at. We have, of course, our little pamphlet showing us, what to do, how to operate this, and all of that good stuff. Tells you everything that comes in here, gives you kind of like an introduction, specifications, and installation, what to do with the plant food. So that is great. We will get into all that in a moment. We have our operating system, our power supply here, and I see already that it has like those grow lights that we get with the little timers and stuff like that. This has a timer. This has different light adjustments because of course it's a growing system. It has a light as well, which is fantastic. And of course your on and off button. And I'm not sure, I think I did mention a timer. So we got 3, 9, and 12 hours. That's fabulous. In here we have little stickers that kind of serve as, I guess, holders. So I don't know if you could see the outlines, but they're, I'll show you. We'll get into that. But it keeps them afloat, which is great as well. We have our plant food A and our plant food B. I believe you use both of those at once. And then of course we have our little cones that we put everything in. If I can figure out, here we go. So we have our little cones and our hydroponic substrate here. These are grow sponges. These are used for seeds and germination and seedling starting and stuff like that. I will not be using any of these today because I am not starting by seed, but I will explain the process and I will explain how you would use them if that's how you would choose to use them or if that's what you're looking for from this video. I will briefly explain what you would do with that and how you would go through that process as well. So getting back to what we have in our handy dandy box of goodies here, we have the bottom tray, I think this is, or maybe this is the top. I think this is the topping. That one makes sense. We have, yep, the light, I think. Maybe it's not the top, maybe it's the bottom. We'll figure it out together. So we have our light, and this is a full spectrum LED light here. Let's check out the specifications to that because I do not know that offhand actually. It's an LED light and it is full spectrum. So it does have your red, your warm white, your blue, and your IR lighting, which is great for all stages of growth. So that is seedling starting, like I mentioned, vegetative flowering, and all that great stuff. So that's fantastic as well, obviously, because this growing system can be used for a multi-range of different growth stages and, of course, a wide variety of different plants as well. So let me see. We'll get this out of here. Now this is going to be the backing. This is going to be how we kind of put everything together. So first we will kind of get this installed and then we'll talk a little bit more about how this works and growing hydroponically. I keep wanting to say semi-hydroponically because that's how I grow most of my plants, but I gotta remember we are growing hydroponically today. So the setup is pretty simple. So here, this is how your thing is going to look. We have the base system here, which is this part, okay? We have our lid here, which is the part where the plants will be held, which is this right here. So this just pops right onto there, super simply, nothing to it really. And then we have what I refer to as our bottom tray, which was this black piece here. That also just kind of pops right in there, just sits there. It is loose, so it's not to be, it's not meant to, you know, clip on or anything like that. It's meant to hold the backing that holds the light. So now that we are talking about that, we have two pieces, which are these two pieces right here, and they are going to go in one another. There we go. So it does extend on there very well, and that's if you need your light to be taller. Now you're going to, let's get this put together quick. So this just goes, this just inserts right in here. It's very easy to insert. You literally just push that in like that and, you know, give it a good push down so it's all the way in there, and that's not, you know, it's not going anywhere. It's very sturdy, as you see. That is perfect. So now when I'm using the extension, it goes off camera. So as you can tell how tall it gets. I would measure that to be probably about, if I had to guess, I would say maybe like 18 inches, 20 inches of height. So that is plenty of height. Now this is the top light part. You are going to insert it over the top of your a pole extension here, and this part clips open and close to kind of get it on. So I'm going to open it, and we are going to, so this part is here. Obviously you want your light to be facing, you know, over your display. And we are going to insert in between those two. There's two little inserts there, and you're just going to go ahead and do that. And then you can go ahead and close it and really lock it in there. Now, as you see, when it's locked, I'm pushing it down. Let me just show you where you can actually see it. So I'm pushing this down. When this piece is closed, it will not move. So if you want to adjust your light, you need to open it, and then you can slide it, you know, to your liking. So because I have short plants, I'm going to put it down where the extension starts. And that gives me about 1 foot of lighting space, which I think would be appropriate and perfect for the plants that I'm going to be growing. Now, I'm sure this gives off great lighting, but again, it's just a small grow light. It's not going to be something that is super powerful, that is going to scorch your plants, unless you're literally hovering it right above them all day, every day. Of course, you probably eventually will get some burning, but it will be fine. I will be using this light for, I would say, good, probably 10 hours, I guess, depending on where I put it. I actually might put this in my kitchen, on my kitchen counter, because I have some plants on my sink and my windowsill, but I definitely want something to kind of liven up the space, but I don't have many windows in there. So I'm actually going to throw this on my kitchen counter, and I think it will look gorgeous there. So yes, this will be running about 10 hours a day, maybe 12. We'll see. We'll see how the plants grow with 10 hours, and if I need to up it or lower it, I will make adjustments accordingly. So now that we got that all figured out, we'll go ahead and get this plugged in. So of course we need to get our power cord and our controller, and that plugs in right into the light. So there's going to be a little space right here. I don't know if you can see that, but it's your little space where your power cord plugs into. So we'll get that out and we'll pop that in. It's just like one of those, it's not actually like an aux cord, but it's, you know, similar, just this little round piece, and it will insert right into that space that I just showed you. So it's on the back side of the light, and it's really simple, plug and play, really easy to work and operate. I love stuff that is super simple and easy. It just makes growing, especially when you have a lot of plants, it makes growing that much easier. So we're gonna go ahead and pop this in, if I can feel it here. There we go. Popped in, we'll get this plugged in. Okay, so now that we got the extension cord plugged in, let's turn this on. I will face it to you guys. So that's actually very bright. I'm gonna tilt it a bit so you can kind of see it. So here we are. Wow. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4. So you have 4 different settings, 25, 50, 75, and of course 100. And that is actually very bright. So that is brighter, honestly, than I was expecting it to be. I mean, look at how, whoa, that's crazy. That is super crazy. That's super bright. Now I'm definitely really excited to use this because, you know, as I mentioned in the beginning of this video, I've used a lot of LGECON products, so I was expecting, obviously, a very nice product, but for the size of this light, I was expecting it not to be as bright, just based off the size, not the quality of the product, because I love the quality of everything that I've used so far from LGECON, but from the size of the light, I am literally wowed at the brightness. I really like it, I love it, and I want some more of it. And I know my plants will too. So now that we have that all set up, again, you can raise and adjust it for the purpose of putting everything in here. I am going to raise up the light, that way I have a lot more room. So again, really quick, before we take the light off, I'm gonna get it unplugged and out of the way just so we can finish up this video here. But you do have your 3-hour timer, your 9-hour timer, and your 12-hour timer. So that makes it really simple. I said I was gonna do 10 hours. I will actually do 9 hours. That way I don't have to worry about turning it on and off. But this is going to be exciting. So again, to get this off of here, you just open that hatch there and it comes right off. So we'll get that out of the way for the moment so we can kind of just plant. Actually, we can just work with this and keep the light on. So I will put that back on and we'll just work with the growing tank, I guess we could call it, okay? So here in the front, we have a indicator to show you where your water line is. So it holds up to 2 liters, which is a decent amount of water. And you definitely don't want to pass, actually it holds probably a little under 2.5 because the max line is a little bit above 2 meters, but not quite at the half point. So it holds a little bit above 2 liters, a little bit below 2.5 liters. That is a good amount of water. When growing hydroponically, you definitely want to make sure your plants always have fresh water. I would say change this maybe bi-weekly, every 3 weeks, something like that. I definitely would not exceed a month. But again, you can gauge, you know, pop in, look at it, check it out, see if there's any algae or anything, bacteria, anything like that growing inside your tank. And of course, if there is not, you can let it go a little longer. But when you do kind of give this a flush or a rinse, you don't want to just change the water. You do want to go in there, rinse it out, wipe it out. And I wouldn't recommend using any harsh soaps or any harsh products because it will soak up into the plastic and, you know, I think eventually kind of affect your plants. That is just my recommendation. I am not a professional by any means, but I would just rinse out with water and a paper towel, maybe just a sponge, you know, water and a sponge just to get any gook that was up there, or like a Dawn soap, something that is, you know, not harsh, doesn't have any chemicals or anything like that in it. That's what I would use. So we are going to talk about kind of how to put this stuff together. So I think the first step I would do is we're going to get this stuff out of here, and then we are going to fill with water before we really go any further. These also come with, now this is again for germinations and seedlings and stuff like that, each one of these. So if you're going to germinate or you have seedlings, you are going to place your seed in here. There is a little hole for it. You just pop your seed in there. That goes in there like that. And then you cover the dome. This clips on here like, oh, okay, I guess it just sits on there. It sits very firmly because it will sit over, let me just, so like that. It's not gonna go anywhere when it's on here. It's nice and tight. Of course, it's going to make a fool out of me. There we go. It's nice and, you know, secure on there, so that will keep humidity in there. That will help the germination process, because, you know, when you germinate, a higher humidity definitely helps that germination process, helps the seed go, keeps that little germination or seed sponge moist, because seeds, if they dry out, they will die. They will not germinate. They will not grow. So you need to keep your seed moist. And by putting that little topper on there, that helps to accomplish that. So that is how you would go ahead and germinate or grow seedlings, and you would keep your light obviously at that lower section to help give them light at a better angle, I guess, or a closer range. Now, for hydroponics, you know, just my plants, I could go ahead and I could put my plants right in here just like this. So for example, something like this. This I probably wouldn't because it's so big, like it wouldn't fit in there. That I would just literally put right in there. It would be fine. It's not, because of all this branching, it's not going to sink under. But for something like, let me find a good one, because I do have some that would sink down in, like this one right here. If I put this in this hole, now because the leaf's a little big, like it would be fine, but potentially like it could fall down in there like that, and we don't want that. So now there's 2 options. I could go ahead and feed it through here, you know, and that will help to catch it. And then, you know, just go ahead and place this like that, as so. Or those little stickers I showed you earlier, and I said we would discuss about them. They are basically like those little sponges you see. So you peel them like this. And now where's that? I just put it back, of course. That's a different one. Where's the one I was just using? Okay. And you know, this is easier for just something that's just a stem, but they would go like this and it would help. See how the leaf got caught there? It keeps it so it's not going to sink in the hole. Now these, of course, you would stick right on to these holes here. So you literally just place it around, and that gives it a way smaller area. You see the difference? So here we have this big opening, and when you use that sticker, you have such a smaller opening. If you have something that's smaller or more skinnier, more straight, or leaves that are smaller, they won't necessarily slip into your tank of water. You definitely don't want that. That's how you will get rotting and stuff like that. Now, again, because I think most of the stuff that I'm growing, it definitely is all bigger. So before we move forward, let me show you what I'm going to be growing in this hydroponic indoor garden. I'm going to be growing my, I don't know what type of Maranta this is, so I'm going to call her the red line Maranta. It is so gorgeous. I think the red on this plant will contrast very nicely with some of the other plants that I'm going to be growing. In here, I'm going to be growing a couple Monstera stiltopicanas, and I think maybe eventually I will add like some sphagnum up here for like the stiltopicanas. I'll have to grow those in the back. That way they can kind of like stick and grow up it. That would just look so gorgeous. In the end, this project I'm doing right here, it is going to be so beautiful. I cannot wait to have like a final finished product. And I will definitely, whenever, I mean, it might take like a year or so for them to, you know, grow and vine and all that good stuff. Actually, these plants grow very fast. I might have some vining by the end of this growing season. But I will definitely be posting updates on Instagram to keep you guys updated on how these plants grow. So now that I showed you the Maranta and the stiltopicana, I have some begonia. I always get these two confused. I have a begonia Benego pink and a begonia pink mink. They look very similar. They are different. I think this is the pink mink because I wanted the Benego pink on my wish list, but I actually ended up liking the other one better because it has bigger leaves and like very more bright pink. One of them has like pink edging, the other one doesn't, but that's a whole nother video. Every time I talk about this plant, I end up saying that. But anyways, we have this beautiful pink begonia. This is either the Benego pink or the pink mink. I will definitely put that on the screen so you know for sure which plant this is. And I am also going to be throwing in some Godzilla pothos. I just think the texture to these leaves will kind of also add to this little collage of plants. Everything is so different, but it will tie in very nicely. So we're gonna get this filled up. I think that's pretty much it. The only thing we have left to talk about for this growing system is the plant food, which we will discuss after we have everything all put together here. So before I put any plants in here, I'm gonna go ahead and fill this up with water. And again, we are not going to exceed that max line. So I do have my water, this thing is so heavy, right here. It doesn't look that big, but, so I'm gonna leave it right at the 2-liter mark. Get our water back over there. So we are right at that 2-liter mark. You can see. And I'm gonna go ahead and pop the lid back on. And now, I guess I won't know for sure until we start putting stuff in here, but I'm not gonna start out with these stickers. I'm only gonna use them when necessary. I think I am going to put in here because it will kind of keep the roots sort of contained, and it will kind of help control them and keep them from getting as tangled. If they were just kind of loose, they would, I mean, they're gonna grow all over the place anyways, don't get me wrong. But I think having them in here will keep them a little more contained than if they weren't. So it makes me feel better to have them in here. I feel like it'll be a little easier to pop them out and get them apart. Who knows? This one though, this one I might just pop in. I don't know if I can separate these roots enough to, let's see. This one I'm just gonna pop in because it just has too many roots. So I think I want this one kind of near the front because it's kind of like a low plant. So gorgeous. Let me zoom you guys in so we can check this out. We got this little cutie in there. I am going to pop some stiltopicanas in there, and for those I am going to use these. So like I said, I will just kind of pop the roots in here to help give it some control. and we'll just kind of place these. Like I said, these will be in the back because I will eventually want them kind of trailing up that back post. I'll probably wrap some sphagnum around with some fishing line or something like that. But that will also be nice for these Godzilla pothos as well. We'll see. Maybe those will actually look nice kind of from the sides, trailing out down the front. So I am just super excited. Now, because these are single cuttings, I could place, you know, like 2 of them in here, but to give them their own space, because eventually, like, I wouldn't be able to grow them like that forever. I could do multiples if I was just starting out propagations like this or with no roots, but eventually you do want to give them enough space, give them their own space to grow and flourish. You don't want to, jam pack them. They need their own space to breathe. So I think this is the last Stiltobacana. And this one's definitely going to give me some trouble because she has some roots growing all over the place. There we go. See what I mean? Even using these, they're going to just kind of grow where they want. But like I said, it'll just kind of keep them a little, I don't know. Makes me feel better, okay? So we have that. And even so, using these kind of stops the stems, like the stem reaches the bottom, it stops the stems from really getting too far down in there. So either way, that's okay. So we have those 3 in there, and it kind of helps them sit up a little better, which is nice. This is a tall one. I have 2 begonias that are rooted very nicely, and they're growing little babies. You can see this one down at the bottom. Honestly, I would probably be better off cutting this and making like a whole new thing from this, because these are going to stay submerged in the water, and until they like grow their stems, which, you know, I'm gonna have to keep a really good eye on that, because it's going to hit the top if they even survive being submerged under the water that long. I think they'll be fine because they've been under the water so far, and you know, they're growing very nicely. Nothing's happening to them. They're not molding, they're not rotting. But again, I'm just going to have to keep a good eye on that and make sure they don't. If they do, it is what it is. But check out these nice healthy roots. They are gorgeous. We're going to pop this, I think. So I'm doing this, yeah, all right. We're gonna pop this in the back because she's nice and tall. Ooh, I forgot. So this, I could not use that, but because I kind of want this to sit, see, this is what I mean. Like if I have her in there, her stem's gonna kind of just be all the way over here because she has such a long stem. But if I use this, it will keep her stem, and it will also help her sit up a little taller, which is what I want. So I definitely need to use this for this one, because now the stem will only go down to the bottom of this, and look how much higher up she will sit. Very much higher. She's tilting a little bit, but you know, once she gets some roots, she will sit up a little higher and be like that. I can also kind of put something there, like I can for now, maybe like put some support sticks and just tie her to a support stick. That way she stands up a little better. But even sitting like that, she's standing up pretty well. That looks great. And because the light will be directly above them, that will help them grow up straight rather than reaching for the light to the left, reaching for the light to the right, all that fun or not fun stuff. So here's my second one. This one is growing actually really great as well. Lots of nice healthy roots, a gorgeous, gorgeous leaf. I love how silvery these leaves come in, the spots, and then you give them enough light and it's like boom, pink everywhere. It's just stunning. So this one, I think to keep the color a little bit more dispersed and kind of sporadic, I'm going to put this one on the opposite side. So we are gonna go right here. That is so cute. I love this thing so much. Honestly, I really do. I'm surprised I haven't gotten one of these sooner. And honestly, until I was sent this one, I really didn't even think to use it in this manner. I just knew that I already had hydroponic system for my herbs, and I was like, let me figure out something else to do with this. I need to, you know, do something different, and this is what I came up with, and I am absolutely in love. I am loving it. So I am all gung-ho for these indoor hydroponic growing gardens, okay? So here I have my little Godzilla pothos. You could see these have been rooting for so long, and these take, at least in my experience, such a long time to root. Like definitely longer than your average pothos plant, because these have probably been rooting for like a year now, and even some of them still, like they're alive, they're healthy, but no roots even. And the ones that are rooted, they're so tiny. And this is the last three, like, oh, they're so tiny. Hardly any roots. So because these roots so slow and they're so tiny, so I have 1, 2, 3, 4, I have 4 slots left here, and I am going to go ahead and combine some of these. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. I have 8 and 4 slots, so that means we are going to do 2, 2, 2. We're gonna have 2 of everything. 2 of each. So some of them I have like little 2s. 2 leafers and 1 leafer, so I'm gonna do, you know, obviously a 2 leafer and a 1 leafer together to give us some more, at least wherever I can. Obviously, if I don't have enough 2 leafers, then I'll just put 1 leafers together, but if I can, I like to put them together to make them look a little fuller. So we will throw this one, I think. Actually, because the stilted pecanos sit a little more flat, I'm gonna throw those, oh, I want them to grow up, that's right. For now, we're gonna throw those in the front because these can trail and the Godzillas can climb. Because these sit more flatter, so I definitely want to, you know, create a little more depth here. So this would be the logical way to do that, anyways, to achieve what I'm trying to achieve. So we'll throw these in here because you'll see in a moment how these will stick up a little more than the stilted pecanas do. And I actually like the way they kind of lay off the front there. That looks very nice. I am so excited. This is so adorable. I literally can't even take it. I really am in love. I love this. So 2, 2, and 2. Perfect. I literally had a 2 leafer and a 1 leafer for each one. That is awesome. It was meant to be, guys. It was meant to be. So we're gonna go ahead and put these in here. Now don't worry if you kind of just jam the roots in there. Honestly, they'll grow where they need to grow. They are not going to, because they know where they need to be to survive, and they will get there. So you just want to get them going in the right direction and they'll do the rest. Okay, so we'll go ahead and throw that one right here. Ooh, girl. We'll do this one. This one's cute, actually. So these leaves are growing like upside down. Like this is the top of the stem, but they're like growing funky. So you just want to make sure you realize that, because like I was about to put this one upside down and then it would have continued to grow that way. And that wouldn't have been good because the leaves are curved that way, but the stem needs to be facing upwards. And again, because of that, this is going to come in handy, because if I didn't have this in here, able to keep this kind of somewhat upright, you know what I mean? Like at least the top it's kind of that way a little bit, but it's able to stay upright rather than, you know, be like this or go under. If I were to just plop it in here, it'd be going every which way and the stem would grow inside the tank. So these little cones also come in handy for that as well, kind of keeping them upright and growing where they need to be growing. So I'm telling you, if you don't have one of these systems already, get one, because I never ever would have thought of getting one of these. And now I'm really glad that I actually have one, because it is just awesome. Excited about it. I'm super excited about it. Again, you also want to make sure you have these deep enough in the cone to reach the water. Just another little pro tip. And I say pro tip not because I'm a pro, but you know, just to do the thing. correctly. This is another one that's growing downwards, so we need to make sure the stem is facing the right way. I hate when they do that. And we got such a little baby. Look at this little baby leaf right here. It is so adorable, so baby, so little. And this one we're gonna pop right here. So here we are. I will eventually get this. Hold on, I think I can get this actually. Let me just do this. If I do this, kind of like, there we go. It might stay. There we go. There she goes. That is so adorable. I love it so much. And once these start to grow and fill out, I just picture like a big, bushy bundle of joy. Bundle of gorgeous, luscious plants that are loving life. Okay, so now that we have this done, let's talk about our A and B plant foods. Okay, so this is all done. We're going to talk about some plant foods. I'm going to go ahead and pop this in the stand. We got the light perfectly above it. I think that is definitely a good distance from the top of the plants. We're probably a good, definitely 6 inches or so, and I think that will be fine. Again, I will be able to tell if you pay attention. You will be able to tell if you need to make any adjustments. Keep a good eye on it for the first week to 2 weeks to tell if you need to raise, lower, adjust the light strength, and you'll be good to go. Again, this is a really great system. There's tons of adjustments to be made, so there's so much you can do with this. There's so many different types of plants, and you know, this is just gorgeous. I love it. So we're gonna pop that to the side. Actually, we'll pop it to this side. That way I can access the little food hole. So how we use the food is we fill up each of these to the top, and then we shake them really well to dissolve all the food. I used water. Well, it was a little warmer when I first started making this video, but honestly, it's probably lukewarm. It's definitely room temperature now. So I went to go use the warm water to help them dissolve a little bit better, but you know, we've been chatting a little bit now, so that's all right. So anyways, you're going to fill these, let's see, fill A and B bottle with pure water, screw 2 caps, shake a few times, and the fertilizer will dissolve in the water and become a nutrient. Okay, so we're gonna do that. And now when you're filling the bottles, and I will show you in just a second, okay, filling them means filling them to here, not to here. You need to leave room for them to shake and dissolve. If you fill it all the way, you are going to, you know, you won't leave any air for it to be able to shake, and it'll be a little too dissolved, too weak, I guess. Too dispersed, I guess. I don't know. It'll be too much water for the amount of nutrients in there. And again, diluted is the word I'm looking for. And because it's not that much water, it won't make that big of a difference. But, you know, just a little pro tip. Again, not from a pro. So these are 2 different nutrients. I'm not sure exactly what they are. On the back, though, it does say, like what's in them. One is like nitrogen and COA or something like that. Let me see, CAO, which I am not sure what that is, but so this one is nitrogen and CAO. And this one is nitrogen, some, I think magnesium, some zinc, some, bunch of stuff. Bunch of other stuff that, you know, is normally would be like in soil and stuff like that. So this isn't going to provide them, like say you're growing in soil. If you're growing in soil, you know, your plants are already getting these, what are labeled A and B nutrients. That is basically what is already going to be in the soil. So you still do want to add your fertilizer. For me, that would be liquid dirt. And every once in a while, I would use some Super Thrive, fish fertilizer. Those are the things I use. I like to kind of use all natural organic stuff for my plants. If you're going to be using a synthetic fertilizer, I would just make sure that it is water soluble. If it is not water soluble, it is not going to work. It is not going to do anything for your plants because you're growing them hydroponically in water. So you definitely need to make sure they're water soluble. That's the first must when growing hydroponically. But again, I would do this for the soil too with synthetic fertilizers. Dilute them a little bit, maybe like 1/4 the strength, something like that. You know, do whatever you think is best. You could start off lighter and always add more if you need to, but you know, if you go too heavy, you can't take it back. So I always like to start off lighter. And if I feel like they need a little boost, you can always give them a little more. So I think these are about dissolved, and it tells you the proportions on the bag of what you want to use. They are both the same. So let's pretend this is 1 liter of water. We are going to put 5 milliliters of each inside, mix it up, put it in, okay? So for this in here is 2 liters. So we would want to add 10 milliliters of this and 10 milliliters of this into this if we are filling this with 2 liters. So it's really that simple. I mean, there's not much more to it. It's that simple. I'm not going to add any of these yet just because I have all my plants in there. I want to grab a funnel and I don't have it on hand. So these I will definitely be adding later, and then come a week or two, I am going to start fertilizing. Now I fertilize year round with my liquid dirt, but I'm going to wait to start these off because I did just fertilize them not that long ago. When I did my maybe 2 videos ago, my plant tours video, when I kind of cleaned these out, I did add some new fertilizer in there, some liquid dirt, some Super Thrive, stuff like that. So I will wait like 2 weeks to kind of kick these girls off on their growth spurt. And I'm super excited to see how these plants continue to grow. They are going to have a whole new light system going on. Of course, they were already growing hydroponically in their little cups, but they are now all one. They have a little gang going. They look super cute, and I'm really excited to try this system. I will definitely be doing some updates on this system, maybe a short on YouTube, if not definitely some Instagram posts and stuff like that, to let you know how they're growing, to let you know how I think the plant food works and stuff like that. And again, I can't wait till these girls just grow nice and full and have this little grow garden all filled up. Thank you guys again for joining me in another video. I hope you enjoyed learning a little bit about growing hydroponically and checking out this hydroponic indoor growing garden. Thank you again, LGECON, for providing me with this awesome gift. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe if you're interested in the content I provide. And as always, every plant's a princess. Bye.